So it's been a while since I've done a recording, haven't been playing much, but I thought I'd just go over some of the electrical tips and tricks that I tend to use, especially for my complicated designs. So I've just done a few examples here and we can go through them. First one was going to be looking at solar panels themselves. If people weren't already aware, you don't actually need to have your solar panels fully visible to the sun to be able to get power from them. So here you can see only one of the the four cells is seeing daylight, and it happens to be this one here that actually needs to see the sun. So you can probably hear it, but you'll be able to see it's able to produce power at the moment. Yeah, that one there's producing power. I've got two of them, but only one of them is hooked up to stuff, so that's producing power. If I put a block on top, you can hear it. It goes, and it's now not making power, either one of them. If I get rid of it, it now produces power again. One of the things they used to let you do was put a quarter block on top of it, and then you could put a quarter block above that. Essentially made it impossible to see straight down, but it would give you power. Seems they've got rid of that now. I haven't tried all the other options, but another one I was always aware of is that you could put a roller shutter door across like that, and it will still provide power. It doesn't actually see this roller shutter door, but obviously it's protecting it now. So that's one thing you can do with the roller shutter door and keeping your solar panel safe. It's kind of useful for PvP, especially if you've got an underground base and you've just got a light shaft and you don't want people to see down it. So that's the first tip. The next one is looking at just some basic electricals and stuff some people might not be aware of, like logic gates. So here's an AND switch, for example. So to make this light power, you need to switch both switches on. If you turn one of them off, it doesn't power, and turn the other one off, it doesn't power. It's a pretty simple setup. You just need a power cable going to one of the switches, then in turn to the next switch, and then to whatever you want to power, and then both of these have to be on to give the device power. So that's how you can have an on and AND system there if you want it. Then moving on, another thing that people might not be aware of is that doors don't always have to be placed in the standard orientation, meaning that when you hit a switch, normally when you hit a switch on a door, it opens it up so you can go through it. But if you want to sort of like change the signal of a switch so that an on signal is actually a close, if you put the door against the wall like that, when you step on it, it will stop you from getting through. I've just got a 5-second delay. But essentially that allows you to use doors in the opposite way that you normally use them. That can be useful as well. Another thing that people aren't used to is the fact that these roller shutter doors here, they will go completely through blocks. You can stand on them as well. So they are physically an entity in the world, but they will ignore other blocks entirely. Loads of things you can do with it. I'll let your imagination run wild, but that is a very handy, neat little trick that you can get away with. Then there's another thing here. If you, for some reason, you want a 4-switch lock, so you want one switch, well, if you want multiple switches to let you get through a door rather than just one, this is the sort of system that would do it. So you have to flick all of these to actually allow us to get through, to enable the door. Again, all that is it's just the electrical wiring going to the switch, and then the switch going to the door, going to the hatches. The hatches are just placed on the wall, so that the hatches are just placed in this particular orientation, so that when they open, it creates a standard open way here. Essentially that's taking about the same space as a standard door, but there's 4 individual locks, and if a single one of them isn't enabled, you can't get through. Again, could be useful for PvP or PvE, if you want to create some sort of weird fun houses and stuff like that. Lots of different options there, but that's a method where you've got 4 individual locks which can stop a single player from going through. I don't believe you can crouch underneath them. Let me just check. Yeah, you cannot crouch underneath, so yeah, you're stuck. Right, on to the next one. This one's, if you want to have like some sort of trap, for example, rather than using a trap floor that you have to keep replacing, you can use the doors in this sort of orientation if you want to. You can use more than just two, but here's an example where once you go in it and the camera sees you, you fall through, and then it even traps you underneath them as well. So it's essentially just a reusable trap door system, which you don't have to keep dealing with. So that's a fun little system. As long as the camera detects you, it will trigger off there. We looked at AND gates. So this is an OR gate essentially, where you have a power relay going to a. You can do a trigger plate, or you can do it with cameras. They work in the same way, and they work in series, where you can activate any one of them, or activate the light. So that can be working as an OR gate. So you've got your AND and your OR gates. Again, I'm not sort of telling you all the things you can do with it. I'm just showing you the different mechanisms there are, and then you can have a play with this yourself. One final thing that I found, especially if you're doing a PvP server where you might have massive claim protection, but still things are vulnerable to being destroyed by players. If you've got like a trap room and something's activated by a camera, for example, that camera's the weakest spot. So often gun turrets and things like that might be activated by the camera. If they take the gun turret out, you're not the gun. If they take the camera out, the gun turrets will stop working, and they'll be free to try and escape however they wish. So what you want to do is protect the camera. Essentially, you can set it so that when the camera detects a player, it will activate everything it needs to activate, and it can be on a really long timer. And part of that can be a door which shuts in front of it, protecting the camera, like so. So now that no one can really get to the camera to kill it. I got this on a 5-second delay, so it just keep going around in a cycle. But you could have it on a 1-hour timer, and that would stay closed and activate whatever you want there. So yeah, always make sure that if your cameras are protecting your base on a PvP server, that the cameras themselves aren't vulnerable to just being taken out. So that's a nifty little method you can use. So yeah, just some examples of some of the little tricks and tips that I use. I've got a few others I think, but they're some of the main ones. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that.